ordered some more of my knitting / crochet season hats because the first, well, it was the second sample order, but the last order that I made, I only had one of each, but now I've got crochet season in beige, whereas before I only had it in the navy, so this is the comparison. And then I also got the navy one in knitting season, which again I only had in beige, and I got two of those. One of them I'm gonna give to Sophie, who I'm meeting tomorrow, but I can now get some pictures with these as well, which is quite good. Some people messaged me asking if I did the reverse colours as well, which I realised was my fault for not showing it on the pictures. I have been loving being in my new home office. I was worried that I had been building it up so much, like getting my room back, renovating this room, having somewhere to work from, that I actually don't end up using it that much, but I love it in here so much as my sanctuary. And also because I do work from home every single day of the week by myself, having a different space to work from has been so nice in breaking up my day, and also to have somewhere to store all of my things. Downstairs, the living room isn't looking so messy anymore, which is lovely for a change. I actually think I've given myself tennis elbow, or I'm on a pretty steady way to get tennis elbow. It's been really sore, like non-stop, even when I take breaks, which I can't really take breaks, or I don't really want to take breaks. So I've got myself like a compression thing to wear, which helps a little bit. Now my hand is really sore, so I think at least for the next 2-3 hours I need to take a break. Which, when I made that realisation just now on the sofa, I thought, well, what else am I going to do? I knit 24/7. Every single free second that I have, I knit or I crochet. But I think if I push it, then I'll have to take a much longer break. So instead, I'm gonna show you some of the things that I've been up to. I feel like I've not been chatting, knitting and crocheting in like a vlog format in a long time. So there's a lot to catch you up on. I think the last time I vlogged was when I made the knit Scooty dupe thing, which this is how it's turned out. It is currently being tested. I think it's only been in the testing period for like a week, so very early stages, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. It looks so cute. It's so soft. Just kind of the drape of knit instead of crochet is so much softer. It is very much giving night, but I feel like that's just balaclavas in general. That is being tested currently. Then my plan was to revisit my very old bonnet pattern. I thought, you know what, screw that. I don't actually want to make a bonnet. I'm going to turn the top of my bonnet into a proper Scooty scarf hood thing instead. This was a pain, but in a really, really satisfying way. So this was the very first one I made. I re-knit this scarf. I don't even know how many times, probably 10 times. I also made this whilst me and my friends were doing a Twilight marathon. So it definitely kept me occupied for a good 9 hours. I made pretty much zero progress. The whole 9 hours we were watching the Twilight movies, because I was just going back and forth with the scarf. My problem basically was that it was just always too tight, and a lot of the pictures that I was looking at, like the Sophie hood by Petite Knit, for example, the scarves on those types of patterns, they go down. That's kind of what I was trying to do as well, but it didn't really make sense to me because it was bunching up really awkwardly. So I managed to kind of create a sort of triangular shape, if you can see, because then when you wear it, it actually slopes off to where you're supposed to tie it, if that makes sense. And once I figured that one out, I was obsessed. So then I made 2 other versions. So this one is the medium length where you tie it one sort of at the back of your head. Then I also made a shorter version, and this one you only tie once under your head, which I think is also so cute. The scarf on my samples was really curling in, but I have since then fixed that in my pattern. But then I also made a long version where you can wrap it once behind you and take it back to the front. Again, I have adapted the actual pattern for my testers for this to be longer because it is a little bit tight, but It just looks so cute. So this has pretty much taken over my last week or two, which, to be honest, now that I'm saying that, no wonder I've given myself tennis elbow, because I've made this within like less than 2 weeks, and I've made 3 of them, plus there's another one downstairs which I'll show you. I definitely wouldn't recommend working like this. I'm just like a woman possessed. I also then cast on another one of the hoods, and for this I wound up, hold on, I'll show you, because I finally have access to all of my yarn again, which has been so exciting. I remembered that I had some cones of yarn up in here, so I wound up 3 strands of this. These are all secondhand, so I have no idea of like fiber contents, yarn brands. It has 0 information. I took 3 strands of this and then 1 strand of this, and that's kind of how that sort of looks like. And I've gotten as far as the top of the hood like this, which I realise is just blending in with my hair. I think it will look really cute though when it's done. I'm not sure yet what length I'm gonna do. I might do a long one if I have the stamina and the ability for that. So that's one thing that's currently on my needles. Let me just tidy this up because I know what I'm like. I will just let it get messy in here. So this hood pattern is also currently being tested. I was able to really speed through the tech editing process, which was great. So then I had a few questions about making it into a crochet pattern, which I did not plan for, but I started working on a crochet version last night, which has turned out to be a lot harder than I thought. Like, I genuinely thought I could just take the knit pattern and change out like knit stitches for single crochet stitches or whatever. I actually had to change the whole measurements and stuff. So this was one of my first swatches. I have another swatch downstairs with this yarn and that's blocked, and then I just knit another swatch with a different yarn that's also currently drying from being blocked, because the whole tension of crochet is so different to knit, and the knitted hoods, they just stretch a lot further, like this way and that way. Just the natural drape of knitting is so different. I've also noticed that with this Scooty, it's just the feel of it is so different. So I had to completely change my measurements and stuff for the crochet version, which I'm still working on. It's still not 100%. I'm kind of hoping that if I now this evening take a few hours break of knitting, then maybe I'll be okay to crochet for maybe an hour or 2 tonight. I don't know. This is the 4th knitted Scooty version that I made, and this one was with DK instead of Aran weight yarn. It's the Hobby Friends wool, and it worked out really nicely. It's a lot kind of like softer and not as rigid, but that I guess just makes sense with the nature of this being like a thinner yarn. So this is really, really sweet as well. The stripes is, you know, always a good option. So this is currently the crochet swatch that I just blocked, and it's drying, and it's just a lot more rigid. Like, it doesn't obviously stretch as far. I think I've been knitting so much of the last few weeks that all the crochet work that I've done over the summer has just gone out of my head. Like, I just really forgot how dense crochet is. Yeah, in comparison, this one moves so much more fluidly than the crochet one. So I'm gonna let this one dry. This was the first crochet hood that I made, and it's so small. So this is following the knitted pattern measurements, and it's just not working. I mean, yeah, it's just too small. People on Instagram told me to read this next. I just finished Gone Girl, which is so much better than the film. Like, the film always left me really confused about what's actually happening. I never really understood the ending or like the meaning behind the ending. But the book was so much better at explaining all of that. So I gave Gone Girl a 4-star. So yeah, then loads of people told me to read this one next. I heard loads of good stuff about it. Had pretty high expectations. I'm halfway through. I'm not loving it. It's kind of a bit boring, and I'm scared to say that because I feel like people are not going to be happy with me for not liking this book, but it's boring. I'm bored. I think having maybe gone from like Gone Girl to this as well, I don't know. I'm hoping I can just maybe get through this today. I think I have 200 pages left, and who knows, maybe the second half is better, but the first half so far, snooze fest. city. I was going to meet up with Sophie, but she's not feeling too well, so I'm going to still go and drop off her hat. I'm going to go to the yard. There's usually quite a good vibe on a Friday, especially. There's people like working remotely and stuff, so I'm going to grab a coffee and just hang out and do some knitting. I've brought my book as well. I want to try and stay out a bit more because the weather is actually beautiful today. So I think after I'm done at the cafe, I'm going to just go to the park, maybe grab another coffee. I don't know, whether I'm knitting or crocheting, I'm not quite sure. I brought 2 projects with me. I think I just kind of have to play it by ear and see how my hand and my elbow is feeling. I didn't end up doing anything yesterday, and I do think that really helped. So we'll see how I'm feeling today. But at least I've got some variety. I can, you know, change between knitting and crocheting and reading. There's also a few errands I need to run while I'm in town. But yeah, I think it's going to be a beautiful day. She just jumped away, but we have a cat now, which might seem really sudden, and it kind of is. We went to see her on Friday, and then we picked her up yesterday, which was Sunday. So it happened quite quickly in that regard, but we've wanted a pet forever and ever and ever. And obviously, come here. Come up. There she is. Yeah, as you can see, she's very affectionate. She loves people. She has been here, 48 hours, and she is so loving. Within the first 45 minutes, she's made herself feel at home, which is just the dream. She is so lovely. She's already 14 years old. She's had cancer in one ear, which they removed. She has like 2 teeth left. So one of the sides of her face is a bit wonky, I guess, because of the surgeries and stuff she's had. Like I said, we've wanted a pet for ages, but we obviously have been living in rentals, and I've always wanted like an indoor-outdoor kind of cat, which she is. And we weren't quite sure whether to get a dog or get a cat. In an ideal world, I'd have both, but it is obviously quite hard, especially if you're rescuing them. So we kind of just based it on whatever comes first. We're gonna get. We have always said that we would really like an older pet. I think even though we're quite a young couple, we are very chill, very relaxed, easygoing, and we kind of make the perfect retirement home for a pet. So yeah, they say she's 14. But I feel like she's a bit younger. I feel like all pet owners always say that about their pets, that they're younger than what the vets say. But she's very agile, very active still. I don't know. But either way, we love her so much. And I have been obsessed with like playing with her, cuddling her. It kind of just feels like she's always been here, which is really nice. She's really like made herself feel at home. I'm sure you will be seeing her more and more in my content to come. I have to move the curtains because Betty really likes to go under the shelves and lay on the excess curtain, which I still haven't cut off. But I wanted to not show you because you have seen it many times before, but it is my 1 year pattern anniversary for the Crochet Scooty, which is crazy. It actually feels like this has been out for so long because it has basically this time last year taken over my life. I owe a lot to this pattern. Without this, I don't think my social media accounts would have grown as much as fast as they did. And sometimes I do feel really insecure because it is such a basic pattern, but I try and not think about that too much because there need to be basic patterns out there as well for the beginners, which is like a lot of the patterns that I'm focusing on at the moment, the two Scooty patterns and the knit cardigan as well, this one that I'm currently replicating. They're very basic patterns, and like I said, I've always been really insecure about that, but I think it's nice to build up a bank of basic patterns that I also myself can draw from as a pattern designer. And yeah, that all being said, it's 1 year today, which is very fun, very cool. Thank you to everyone who has bought this pattern and who's made one of these. It still blows my mind how many people have made one. Someone actually messaged me saying they've made like 5 of them for like all of their friends, and I love that. I love that people can get a lot of use out of the same pattern. So yeah, happy birthday to the Crochet Scooty. I also completely forgot to mention, but I finished If We Were Villains, and unfortunately the second half wasn't any better. I predicted who done the murder from the first 20 pages. I'm not even like joking or trying to show off. It was so predictable. All the relationships weren't written very well, and so the whole book, I just didn't really understand the stakes. Like I felt like nothing was at stake because I didn't believe any of the relationships, or they just didn't feel close or fully formed, and so I just didn't care. Like I didn't care if anything bad happened, or generally found the stakes to be so low that I didn't really care that much. Really disappointing read. I very rarely rate books lower than 3 stars, but that one was a generous 2-star for me. The only reason why I didn't give it a 1 star is because it was easy to read. Like I didn't mind churning through it to finish it, even though I didn't really enjoy it. Moving on to American Psycho next, which I think will be a lot more eventful in comparison. It has been a few days and I have been busy working on a lot of projects. I have actually finished knitting a cardigan, which I've just blocked and it's drying, so I'll maybe show you tomorrow when it's actually dry. I'm having a few issues with it. I was really kind of hoping to have it tech edited now, or at least graded now, but I am not 100% happy with the sizing of it just yet. I'll talk through that properly tomorrow when I can actually show you the piece as well. I have blocked the, well, what is supposed to be the top of the crochet hood. I'm really struggling to make it not look like a box, you know? I'm kind of not getting that slanted look that the top of the knitted hat kind of has. It's just the crochet fabric isn't as flowy. I have also decided to move away from the, I think this is the moss stitch, I might be remembering this wrong. It's just that I am too bored working with single crochets, and if I'm already bored crocheting something, then why would I make it into a pattern for other people to do? You know? So I've just moved to some half double crochets instead. It's a lot more flowy, but yeah, I'm still struggling with the back of it. And I ran out of this coloured yarn because I've made like a gazillion swatches. So I thought I wouldn't be able to work on this, but I just found in my stash some blue yarn. So I'm gonna do it in this colour instead. I haven't quite figured out yet what to do. For the corners here, I did some increases to make it more rounded. I don't know if I need to either completely scrap the increases or do more increases, like maybe at the back here. I'm not sure. I need to maybe look at some references to figure that one out. But that's currently where I'm at with that. I've put the brown knit Scooty on hold for a second, just because I want to get this up to speed to actually like fully write a pattern for this. And equally with the cardigan that I'm working on, I really want to just get that done as well. So that's kind of my priority at the moment. I'm in a slightly different environment today. I am dog sitting for the lovely Pip. He's already stayed with us one day last week, and today I'm at Pip's house to look after him whilst his owners are away for the morning. This vlog was actually supposed to be a kind of like solo travel vlog in Norway. I did go to Norway, but I unfortunately had to cancel my trip early, so I only ended up being there for like a weekend. I signed up for this house dog pet sitting trip on Trusted House Sitters, which I have done once before when I was in Berlin, and I had like an affiliate link ready to share with you guys, but unfortunately the experience didn't turn out very well, and like I said, I had to come home early, so I will not be sharing the affiliate link with you guys because I can't recommend it. So I was quite gutted and disappointed by the whole experience. So I signed back up to borrow my doggy, which me and Ryan have done loads of times before, which is obviously where you dog sit in your local area. And Pip's owner straight away messaged me, and they're a retired couple who every now and again just need someone to look after him. He's really needy, he loves being around people, and just hates being alone. And I have so much free time, obviously, because I'm self-employed. I've actually really been looking forward to coming to their house and just breaking up my week and just like spending a Tuesday morning somewhere else. It's quite nice to have that to look forward to. I kind of threw a random few things in my bag. I've got my laptop and my hard drive, so I might edit this video actually. And then I have also brought my book. I'm halfway through American Psycho. First 50 pages, I was like, ha ha ha, this is so funny. Like, it was hilarious. It's so well written. Funny. I was like laughing out loud. It's not that funny anymore. I'm not laughing. It stresses me out thinking about reading this book because I was very naive when people told me like, oh, it's really gross, it's really horrible. I was like, yeah, right, how horrible can a book be? I was so wrong, I've been humbled. This is terrifyingly gross, and yeah, it made me feel really weird when I was at the gym yesterday actually, because I don't know, this book's just at the back of my mind at all times since then. I also didn't sleep very well because of this one night, so I'm taking it slow. It's still really good, like it's written so well, but every time I pick it up and I start reading some more pages, I'm just like, God, what's gonna happen now? Like, I just know it's gonna get so much worse. Like, I'm literally only halfway through and it's already been pretty bad. I was also gonna bring the crochet hood, which is looking very good. I'll have to show you when I'm back home later, but I literally ran out of yarn, so I think that would have kept me occupied for like 10 minutes. So I very last minute threw in some skeins of yarn to cast on another cardigan. Like I said, I'm not happy with the sizing of that one. I really shouldn't cast on another cardigan without checking all the measurements of the blocked one, but you know, I like to just knit on the edge and not follow measurements or anything, so I think I'm just gonna cast on another one with, I have an idea of what needs changing, so I'm just gonna do that. I have like 4 hours to kill while I'm here. We're obviously also gonna go for a walk with Pip as well. It's like a really nice misty, fizzly, rainy autumnal day. So I'm feeling super cozy and I'm just excited to hang out with Pip for a few hours and do some work. I stopped at the bakery on the way. I've got some baked goods in here for my breakfast. Life is good. I'm back home and Like I mentioned, this is the crochet hood. This is how it's looking. The shape of it is much better. Obviously, it's more rounded now. The construction of it is completely different to the knit hood. I didn't have to make any increases, the knitted one, for that to be shaped in a like head shape. Whereas here I had to do quite a few rows of increases to, yeah, create the shape, which seems really obvious. But I think because I have the knitted pattern to compare it to, it just seemed really, yeah, it's just very different. But I'm waiting for the rest of the yarn to arrive. I did go for this colour scheme, but very quickly decided that I actually hate it. I think it's too obvious of a colour match. I do like how they look next to each other, like the skeins of yarn, but it's just too obvious and I wouldn't really wear that kind of colour scheme, so I left it. And I think it's worth waiting for more of these colours to arrive. Then I can also finally show you the cardigan that I've been going on about without actually showing you it. It is this stripy piece, and this is the one that I was trying to replicate from the cardigan that I made like years and years and years ago, which is still really difficult to replicate. And like I said, I'm not 100% happy with the size, because I actually think the very first one that I made, I used way too big of a needle, because the stitches now when I look at it are super stretched out, and I don't really want to recreate that kind of tension. Like, I'm a better knitter now, but that does mean that I have to adjust. Like, I can't follow the stitch and row numbers of that cardigan for this one. I basically have to readjust everything and just follow the shape of it. Actually, this doesn't fit too bad. The arms are a little bit too short, which that's an easy fix. I can just make more rows. I also had to completely frog the front of it and add more rows, so you can see where I usually like attach it and where I've knit more rows to make it longer, which meant that I had to like frog all of the ribbing here, the neckline ribbing. And then in terms of like the width, I don't know if I would want it wider here. So that would also kind of fix the arm issue that I'm having. I think rather than making the arms longer, I need the body part to be wider and hang even lower on the arm. The cardigan that I'm basing this on, the shoulder seam, it literally sits at my elbow, which that's a bit too far down, but I think I could do with a bit more of an oversized look. I don't know, actually, now that it's blocked, it does look quite cool. I think I need to add the buttons in and then see how everything sits, because that'll obviously make everything a bit tighter. Yeah, I don't know, usually I like things to sit a bit looser here. I guess I could also attach the arms lower and make the arms bigger, because then that would make this seam a lot droopier, if that makes sense. I don't know what the best option is, but from the back, I'm obsessed with how this fits here. Like, this is the perfect length, the perfect fit. It does look really good. I'm really nitpicking here. I'm going to sew on the buttons and then we'll just revisit.
The same volume one might begin at while having a late night row. Oh yes, I'm sure he's looking down on you right now. He hears everything.
Buttons are on, and I actually love it even more than I thought I would. I thought the buttons would make me not like this as much, but it's actually happened the other way around. I think the size of this is fine. There's still like lots of room under the armpit, which is the most important thing. I think it will stretch over time. You know, give it a couple more washes and it will sort of sit perfectly. I don't want to make it too big, too oversized, and then the same thing that happened to my first cardigan where it just stretched out massively. So I think in terms of shape, this is literally perfect. This is with all the buttons obviously done up. I also like keeping the two bottom ones, or even maybe three, and just having it top buttons and then it's kind of loose around the waist. I also really love the collar. This was the main thing that I had to adapt with the new version of this, and it came out so well. I've decided not to put a button at the top here and just have this like more loose, and it just looks so cool. I am literally obsessed. I'm gonna keep the arms for this one just because I'm too bored. Maybe one day I will extend them, probably not. But for my second sample, which I think I'm gonna start tonight, I'm gonna add maybe like 4 more rows to it just to give it a little bit more length. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this. I've wanted a stripy cardigan for so long, and I always feel like as soon as you finish the project, it now actually blows my mind that I've made this from scratch. It took me a long time just because I had to basically re-knit all of the hems. I had to re-knit one whole arm, so I basically knit like 3 arms for this. But yeah, I am obsessed, and I'm gonna straight away start a new one. I actually already ended the vlog yesterday, but then I made pretty good progress on my new cardigan, and then I realised that the issues I was having with it being like not droopy enough is because I can't even follow my own pattern, and I misread for some reason the wrong amount of cast on stitches. So I was actually missing 10 stitches in this cast on, which I don't really know how that happens. Sometimes I read a number, but I take a completely number into my brain. Don't know how. This is the start of the new cardigan. This is going to be the back panel, and I've gone for like a blue and a red stripe, and this time I've alternated them so the blue's a little bit thicker than the red, but it's looking pretty nice. My elbow is still hurting a little bit, but it has gotten much better. I think with a combination of obviously taking breaks, and also I've gone back to the gym after not having gone for like 5 weeks. I think the exercising and the strength building and just the different range of movements when I'm at the gym has really helped as well. I think what has also really helped me to take some breaks has been having Betty here. It's something that I didn't really anticipate, but she actually weirdly really helps me to like slow down a little bit and, yeah, like I said, take breaks. She really actively asks to play with you, which is really sweet. So like 3-4 times a day I'll just like take some time to play with her, and it makes me so happy. It's so much fun. And also to just like check in on her, and it has just like weirdly given me another purpose, which is, it sounds kind of sad, but it has in the last 3 days I think that she's been with us, filled our lives with so much joy. Yeah, she's just been amazing. I am fully obsessed with her. But I actually am going to end the video here. Thank you as always so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram or on TikTok, because I'm pretty active on that at the moment and showing like updates and stuff on my projects. So I don't know when the next time will be that I'll vlog. So if you want to see how I get on with this cardigan, follow me on there. But yeah, other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.